If it's a day called today, we're talking guitars and life. I am back at the work table with my Leo kit build guitar, dialing it in a little bit more every day. And I want to talk about the reason why I still have fret buzz. Come on a journey with me, man. It ought to be fun. Welcome back, everybody, to another exciting episode of Tedsbh Guitars Up. Hey man, great to have you on another journey with me. So this video is going to be a little bit different than, kind of like a review vid or other things we've been talking about on the channel. So this is offered, hopefully, to give some encouragement to those who are trying to set a guitar up but continue to have the buzz. You know, the buzz. The buzz? The buzz, man. Yeah, man. So this is the Leo kit, as those of you who hang on the channel know. If it's your first time hanging out with us, welcome to Ted Talks Guitars and Life, man. We always have a good time hanging out with each other. Some cool cats in the comments, man, with lots more experience than I have. Oh, goatee shot. That's the money. Anyway, man, come back and hang out with us anytime. So, this guitar has been set up. The frets have been leveled, the frets have been crowned, the frets have been polished, actually twice, because I continued to have a buzz. And I had a buzz in two very specific places, here and here. It's the only place on the neck that I got buzz is right here. You know what, man? Let me get the camera, see if I can position it maybe in a better locale so that you guys can see the action. Welcome back, friends. Well, we are investigating as to why we have two buzzy frets. Just the bass E and the D on the third fret. The A is normal, the G is normal. So if you hang on the channel, you watch me build this guitar. If you missed any of that, you can see it in the playlist in the description below, the Leo Jaymz LP kit build. So if I take my fret rocker, these frets, my friends, are completely level. All of them, all the way up and down the neck. I know that because we had leveled them, we had crowned them, we had polished them, we had conditioned the fingerboard and all the things. Well, as I continued to work with the guitar to just dial it in to my player preferences, I kept getting this buzz, and in a couple different places. So I may or may not have, yeah man, I leveled all the frets. And I sanded all the frets, and I crowned all the frets, and I polished all the frets, and I did all the things that we do with frets, and yet my problem persists. So then I remembered, guys, nothing I do on the channel is prescriptive to you. It is just descriptive of my journey. So I can recall when I was working on this guitar initially, I found a few high frets, and those of you who were with me on that journey knew that what we did is we took the rubber mallet and we hammered those bad boys down, and that took care of those particular frets. I didn't have any trouble at all. So after that had happened, during my first dialing it in video, or shortly after that, I was working with some fret buzz. And instead of, and this is the sort of prescriptive tip for the day, instead of taking the strings off or loosening them to the point where I can pull them on either side of the board and then use a chopstick, actually what I use is this little thing right here. I loosen up all the strings and I'm able to kind of clip them like that so that all the strings would be here. I should have done that, and then I could just, now again, when you hammer frets, you want to make sure that you put support under that portion of the neck. You want to use your rubber mallet. Okay, you want to nail those babies down. Now, because I did not move the frets, I'm sorry, because I did not move the strings, I loosened the strings, and I was kind of holding them back with my fingers, kind of sort of like this, and I was hammering. Now, what I had done that I didn't remember until this morning, actually it was late last night, about 1 o'clock in the morning I was playing this guitar, just having a great time. These two buzzy frets notwithstanding. And it occurred to me, you know what, man? I bet I accidentally hammered a string and it bent the string just a little bit, and that is why I have the buzz. So sure enough, man, if you could see what I can see right here, that string is not exactly perfect. There's a little bit of a bend in it. The same is true of the E. Now, it is not true of the A, and let me tell you why. Because the first time I did all this and I did the hammering, I bent the A string, and it dawned on me that I had done that, so I replaced the A string just because it looked out of whack. Not because it was buzzing, but it just didn't look right. So here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that we're just going to swap this string out right here with a different string, and we're going to see if that's better or worse. So will this work? Man, I hope so. It is just entirely frustrating at this point to have a guitar that plays. I'll say this about the Leo kit, okay? I'll go on record. It's a good kit, guys. Is it perfect? No, it's not perfect. And I'm not talking about my finish job or my setup work, although I could. Neither my finish job or the setup are perfect. However, the guitar has a few imperfections. I've pointed those out along the journey. I'm not going to relitigate those. However, I do think it's interesting. You know what? Let's go ahead and swap both of these strings while we're chit-chatting. So, it's not a perfect kit. You know, it has its own levels of imperfection. Now that said, man, it plays well. If I keep this guitar, and the jury's out on that right now, I may or may not upgrade the pickups. Now, one of the things that I've noticed in the kit build is that I think that these strings that came with it, and here's why I'm using these strings. I would probably normally just get ahead of myself and put my D'Addario 10s on an LP. I like 10s on an LP. I would normally just rush in and throw my good strings, quote unquote, on there. I mean, they're not super expensive strings. I think a lot of people use D'Addario. But Two Bike Mike has taught me many, many things. Thank you, Mike. One of the things that Mike has taught me along my crazy adventures is that you should never put your really good strings on a guitar until you've got it perfectly set up the way you want it. Because it is not uncommon, my friends, for you to break a guitar string in the process of setting a guitar up. So I've got a couple challenges here. So one is I'm eyeballing strings that are not labeled. That's always fun. So hopefully I'll get the right one. I'm pretty sure this is the E because it is the fattest of the bunch, my friends. Now, because my chromatic tuner is on my board, I'm going to use this little clip on here. Some would say, and I believe there's truth in it, that when you work on a guitar you should really have it in your lap, but for the purposes of the vid I thought this would be better. Okay, I haven't put the D string on yet, obviously, but just wanted to check and see. Did that do any good? No more buzzy buzzy. Man, I hope you're having a great day, just whatever it is you're doing. Man, I pray that you are digging the stuff you're doing and doing what you dig, Jack. That you're hanging out with people who love and affirm you, man, and champion you and encourage you and support you, man. Life is too short, man, not to have good friends, man, who really, really support you well. So it is almost probably non-detectable to you. But there is a bend in this guitar string right here. And that little nick kind of bend looking jobby was enough of a bend where this string was not perfectly round, so that when it vibrated, my conclusion is that as the guitar string vibrated, it knocked up against that fret, thus causing my buzz. Alright, now I need a D string, and I've got two of these things, two guitar strings. You guys remember Sesame Street, man? One of these things is not like the other, Jack. Now, the downside of doing this is that these are not 10s, these are 9s. And so unfortunately, the Leo kit, who I have not named, hey man, what should I name this thing? Should I keep the guitar? What's this guitar look like to you, man? I named the chips in Nag. If you haven't seen those vids, it's in the description below. By the way, I put the Nag on the marketplace this morning, as a matter of fact. And it is a great guitar. We're not here to talk about the Nag, but if we were, I would sing its praises. But it's not the exact color I want, so I'm going to see if I can't sell it, get the one I really, really want. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Let me throw the string on. Okay, the D string has been no more buzzy buzzy. Guys, sometimes your strings just aren't any good. Now, there's nothing wrong with the strings per se. I bent the strings, so I did it. Like almost everything at Ted Talks Guitars in Life. No, it is everything. Okay, it could be everything. Like everything that's jacked up at Ted Talks Guitars in Life, it's usually my fault, which I can take and I can own that for your viewing enjoyment and perhaps edification, and maybe something along the way that I'd find and discover on my travels is helpful for you. So sometimes your frets are not on level. Your strings may be crimped. They may have a little imperfection in them. Now, again, the downside of this for me is that now I've got a mix of 10s and 9s on this guitar. However, I think what I can do at this point is continue to make sure that I don't have any frets, that my nut height is good, do a little bit of filing of those, and if it is, then I will put 10s on it. But I think doing that, because I had jacked up the string action trying to get away from the buzz, just thinking, okay, my bridge piece too low or what. So I had been messing with all of that, when in reality all I needed to do was to assess my strings and put good strings on there. Guys, I hope that's helpful for somebody. Put it in the comments if you ever experienced anything like this or not. Yeah, man, I pray whatever you're doing today, man, it's going to be a great day for you. Thanks for hanging out. Well, as always, wherever you are in your guitar journey, I pray it's a long, smooth, safe, joy-filled ride for you, Jack. Rock on with your bad selves, everybody. We'll catch you down the road.